Shadow Minister Harriett Baldwin.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker, and this has been an excellent debate, and I would like to congratulate the member for Taunton and Wellington for securing it, and thank the Backbench Business Committee for awarding it. Across the debate, we've heard a consistent theme about how the Post Office plays such an important role in communities across our land, providing what I thought was beautifully described by the Honourable Member as friendly access to key services which connect people, which service communities, particularly those without banks, and help those unable to use the internet to connect to government services. In West Worcestershire, Madam Deputy Speaker, we're fortunate to have 31 post offices, including some mobile services, and I would like to put on record my thanks to all those friendly sub-postmasters and sub-postmistresses who help provide these services. And in the course of the debate, Madam Deputy Speaker, we heard across the UK, from Dunstable and Leighton Buzzard, from South West Devon, from South East Cornwall, Orkney and Shetland, Bermondsey and Old Southwark, South West Hertfordshire, Chelsea and Fulham, Didcot and Wantage, Glasgow North East, Stockton West, North Durham, Boston and Skegness, Bournemouth West, Thornbury and Yate, Leeds South West and Morley and Wokingham. And in interventions, we heard also from Newton Abbot, from Dawlish, from Teignmouth, from Basildon, from Billericay, from Dulwich, Tiverton and Minehead. And dare I say, Madam Deputy Speaker, that you feel strongly also about the post office in Romsey, I understand. And therefore, I think we can see just how incredibly valuable this network of friendly institutions is across the country. But I'm afraid to say, and I break it gently to the Government Minister, that Labour's budget of broken promises is threatening the network. Whether it's the National Insurance Jobs Tax, the hike in business rates, or the incoming employment regulations, Labour are hiking the cost of doing business. It means that swathes of post offices are facing tens of millions more in tax and red tape. And these pressures mean that the post office has been forced into assessing the future of over 100 Crown Post Office branches. And rumours abound that when the Green Paper is published, it may consult in a reduction in the number of post offices below 11,500. So can the Minister today put paid to that speculation and tell the House when the Green Paper will be published? In another impact, Madam Deputy Speaker, the Post Office and its network of branches are major employers with over 50,000 full-time equivalent workers. And this means, according to the Institute of Fiscal Studies, that the Post Office itself could face an extra £45 million bill from the national insurance hike. Post offices are often eligible for retail, hospitality and leisure business rates relief, and they face a huge increase in their business rates as relief falls from 75% to 40%. And then the Employment Right bill itself will cost businesses across this country, by the government's own impact assessment, £4.5 billion. Now, with its 50,000 employees, if it's shared proportionately, the Employment Rights Bill will therefore cost the Post Office over £8 million. And you don't have to take this from me. I'm quoting now from the chairman of the Post Office himself, Nigel Railton, who said, "It almost goes without saying, we are a business in need of a fresh start, and urgently, and at the recent budget we saw costs rise with the national insurance contributions, national living wage and business rates." I will give way because I'm sure he doesn't like hearing this news.
It's got nothing to do with hearing the news. I just wonder if the Shadow Minister could remind us how many Crown franchises were lost while she was in government.
Well, I'm just getting to that. He is absolutely on point in terms of where I'm going to, because it was sadly under the last Labour government that the network really shrank in a major way. The number of post offices went into sharp decline and then stabilised in the 2010s. In fact, over the entire time that we were in coalition, with our Liberal Democrat colleagues, and then in government ourselves, the network remained above that £11,500 number. And it takes action. I think we've heard that this afternoon very clearly, to maintain this precious network. I've given way to him once, thank you very much. I've given way. And the previous government worked to enter into a new partnership with the Post Office. It came up with the idea that we can confirm our identity in person, and this is a way of using that valuable network across the land. We recognise that vulnerable people sometimes struggle to verify their identity online. And we also began this initiative to help communities dealing with bank closures by setting up this network of banking hubs, and I'm pleased to hear the Minister confirm that he will continue backing banking hub delivery through the Post Office earlier today. But does he consider that the framework negotiations between the Post Office and the banks, which are in their final stages, are going well? I'd then like to ask the Minister, 1 year on from ITV's historic programme, Mr Bates versus the Post Office, I want to put on record my thanks to the member for Thirsk and Malton for all he did to address the issues raised in that programme. But can the Minister detail the progress that his government is making on the compensation of sub-postmasters? I want to raise the issue of Fujitsu. Of course, they designed the Horizon IT system, and it has destroyed so many lives and livelihoods. Under the previous government, there had been discussions with Fujitsu about providing a share of the compensation to the victims of the Horizon scandal, and Fujitsu confirmed it will pause bids for government contracts until the public inquiry is concluded. However, this month it was reported that the government has awarded new contracts to Fujitsu. This is something that when the government was in opposition, many of its members of parliament criticised awards to Fujitsu. So can the Minister provide an update on the government's current approach? Now that the public inquiry, I will give way.
I'm grateful to the Honourable Lady for giving way. She mentions the Horizon scandal. Is she of the opinion that the previous government's failure to address the Horizon scandal over such a long period of time and the billions of pounds which have had to be spent since then sorting out the mess have nothing to do with the problems, that the financial problems that the Post Office now finds itself in?
Well, I personally don't want to politicise this too much because I think it had gone on for a long period of time, and the inquiry took a lot of evidence last year. I think that the Right Honourable Member for Thirsk and Malton played a remarkable role in exonerating so many people, and I think and setting up the public inquiry. And so my next question to the Minister is if he could provide an update on the what he's hearing through channels as to when the inquiry might publish, because they finished taking public evidence at the end of last year, and I would anticipate they may publish the inquiry sometime later this year. And does he have an update for the House? And then does he have any plans to compensate sub-postmasters and sub-postmistresses who were victims of Horizon's predecessor systems, the capture and echo system that predated Horizon? And does he have plans to also quash any convictions arising from those two systems? Finally, in terms of questions, Madam Deputy Speaker, in the spending review, how much public money is he requesting to put in a replacement for the Horizon system? And can he tell us how many post offices currently benefit from small business rate relief, and what the government's plans are to continue that throughout this Parliament? Further to the member for Wokingham's question about today's worrying announcement from Ofcom that second-class posts may only be delivered every other weekday and not on Saturdays, could he tell us what discussions he's having with Ofcom to prevent this further attack on the demand for our precious postal services? So in conclusion, Madam Deputy Speaker, I think we've heard today how incredibly important this precious network of friendly people across our land is to this country. Those 11,500 post post offices, the distance requirements that are in place. Will the Minister reassure the House, after hearing from so many colleagues, that he will sustain that network throughout the life of this Parliament? Prevention is so much better than cure, Madam Deputy Speaker. Let's all focus on supporting our much-loved post offices in any way we can to continue the wonderful work that they do up and down the country.